Hey, what's going on, everybody? Verdi here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we're going to talk about Mashaled, aka My Salad. He's one of the newly buffed champions with patch 1.14. He is an undead attack champion. I always thought Mashaled looked really cool. He also always did a lot of damage. He just now has a lot more utility than he used to. Let's go over his skills. His A1, Bloodsucker, attacks one enemy, heals this champion by 30% of the damage inflicted. Will then attack enemies under leech debuffs. Tornado places a 30% increased speed and a 30% increased critical damage buff on all allies for 2 turns. Places a true fear and a leech debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Open Wounds attacks one enemy, has an 80% chance of stealing all buffs from the target before attacking. Places a 100% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. Also places 2 15% continuous heal buffs on this champion for 3 turns. Damage increases by 50% against targets that have no buffs. His passive increases ally attack in dungeons by 34%. Now, as I said before, with a heal reduction and a continuous heal, and the true fear and the leech and the increased speed and the increased critical damage, he now has a lot more utility and a lot more use than just damage. And I think that he's overall a pretty good, if not a very good champion now. He has very high base attack, decent hit points, nice base speed, and the rest of the stats are kind of normal. Let's go ahead and take a look at his artifacts. So I pretty much kind of did a mixed set on him with as much crit damage, crit rate, speed, accuracy that I could come up with. It's not necessarily the greatest build, but it works pretty well. So his weapon, speed, crit rate, 3 crit damage rolls, speed crit rate on the helmet, crit rate rolls on the shield, crit damage gloves with crit rate sub and some hit points, attack percentage body with crit rate subs, some speed, some accuracy. Speed boots, crit rate, crit damage for the rolls. Attack ring, crit damage amulet, and an accuracy banner. His total stats, 31,000 health. This could technically be higher. 3,400 attack. This could also be higher if I had my way, but like I said, this is pretty much the best I could come up with artifacts wise without taking artifacts from my current champions. Now, I didn't want to take the artifacts from my current champions because a lot of you guys have already seen some of my builds on other champions, and using the same set on every champion for every guide isn't really what I'm into. So I kind of wanted to do a specific build just for him, so that way I don't have to worry about swapping artifacts, because it is pretty expensive to do so. 178 speed. This I would also like higher. And then critical rate 100%, crit damage 268, which is pretty good. I don't have any crit damage or barely any crit damage in the Great Hall, so this is pretty good. Once I have the Great Hall done up, this will be even higher. And then 246 accuracy, which is not bad at all. It's just not enough for Platinum Arena. His skills, fully booked. Cooldown here you want. Cooldown here you want as well. And honestly, if he's going to be a damage dealer for you, you probably want to book this as well. For his masteries, there's a couple of different ways that you can go here. You could go with Arcane Celerity instead of Whirlwind of Death. In that case, you would probably skip Heart of Glory. You would go with Grim Resolve and then go straight down here. But this works pretty good for me. I'm not going to be using him in Arena very much. If you are, you probably want to get Shield Breaker. There's definitely a couple of different ways to do his masteries. I went with these ones because this is what works best for me. If you're having trouble with your masteries or don't know exactly what to put on them, you can come by my Twitch channel or just leave a comment below and I will try and respond. If I don't, go ahead and hit me up on Discord. This is definitely the best way to get a hold of me if you have any questions. Over here, I went with Lasting Gifts. I really like Lasting Gifts because you can extend the increased speed and the continuous heals and all that good stuff that Mashallah does now. So I went with Lasting Gifts here. And then rapid response. Cycle of Magic works good too. And some accuracy here. So let's go ahead and run him in a couple of arena matches. I have a pretty pleb-like page here. So we can go ahead and test him. We'll run Draco so we can do a little bit of extra damage. And I'll just run it on auto to see how he works. So now he buffs himself here. Pretty decent damage. That was a magic champion too, so the magic is, or so the damage is reduced because spirit versus magic. But overall, not bad damage at all. That's his A1 there, 50k. Not bad. Definitely pretty acceptable. Like I said, this build could be better. He could have more attack. He could have more crit damage. But he works pretty fine, just like this. I'm going to be using him a decent amount of Faction Wars. I might have to make him a little bit tankier for Faction Wars. But overall, I am happy with his performance the way he is built now. See that? He is definitely able to do a decent amount of damage. Use Rotos and Mountain King, so I'm probably not going to alter that too much. When I decide to push, I am able to make it pretty high in Platinum, so I'm going to stick with what I got because I like the way that I have my other champions built for Arena. But I just wanted to show you guys that he is usable, and his increased speed and his increased critical damage and his continuous heal brings a lot of utility to pretty much any fight. And I think that he is, because of that reason, useful anywhere. These are definitely some pretty weak teams here in Goal 4. The page before this was all Sippy and Rotos. So I am kind of glad that I don't have to go along with the struggle bus trying to kill Sippy and Rotos. And we can just show Masha led beating people up. Alright, we could do one more here. Alright, this is really a weird page. Alright, we could go against this team right here. Okay, once again, an auto. I'm just running it. I normally don't run Arena on auto. I'm just running it on auto for you guys so you can see how he works. Still one-shot of that kill with 31k hit on a weak hit. But honestly, he does very respectable damage. Yes, he does have decreased defense and weaken from Draco, but I wanted to see kind of if we could do some big numbers here for the video. We did get 149k hit with Masha led a couple of fights ago, which is alright. He could definitely do better. Like I said, if you build him with more damage, it will probably work out even better for you. Alright, so that's him in Arena. Now let's go ahead and run him in the Force Keep. He is able to solo this pretty quickly. Obviously, there are other champions that can do this, but I felt like this was a pretty cool way to show what he is capable of. I think he does like a little bit over 30-second runs here on Force Keep 15, which is honestly very nice. A lot of people probably don't even have teams that can run this in 30 seconds. So the fact that he can solo it shows that he is definitely a very good champion. There's people out there who can solo Ice Golem 20 with Masha led. My Masha led is not strong enough to do that, and it does require some RNG. But he's definitely capable of pretty great things. Let's do one more run, just so you see it's not a fluke. And then we're going to go ahead and show him in Fire Knight and Ice Golem. No, not bad. Sometimes he doesn't one-shot the second wave there. But you see that 100k hits, or close to 100k hits, without decreased defense and weaken, is definitely very respectable. I'll attack down. There you go. 37 seconds. It's pretty steady doing it at that speed. My best time is 27 seconds, so the fact that he is 10 seconds slower, I think speaks enough just for itself. Alright, let's go ahead and do an Ice Golem. Alright, let's run it one time, see how it goes. So Mashalet's True Fear is definitely useful here on Ice Golem. If that True Fear activates, it will prevent enemies from taking a turn, and is definitely very useful, especially on turn or on phase 2 here, on wave 2. Because if these dogs do not take a turn, or when they take a turn they get True Feared, it will prevent them from using their Reflect Damage skill, and that Reflect Damage skill is kind of what wipes a lot of people when they're first trying out Ice Golem. It's a little bit of RNG, but if you can get it to activate, it'll do really well for you. Ouch. Alright, he died there. This is kind of why I was saying I wanted him a little bit tankier, but I would lose a lot of attack if I took the attack percentage chest off. So I kind of kept him like this, and he works fine with me or with my teams this way. Honestly here, I don't really care if someone dies, because Rotos has the block revive here, and most of the damage is pushed with poisons. There you go. Even when he died straight at the boss, he still did 734k damage, which was mostly done on the waves. So pretty respectable damage, for sure. Alright, let's go ahead and run him in Fire Knight as well. He's nice here on Fire Knight because he is Spirit, so he'll do more damage. The True Fear is nice. The increased speed and increased critical damage is also good for the Cold Heart, because the faster you are, the better it is for Fire Knight, so that way you can prevent him from taking turns. So like for example, if you're running like a Lure or something, Mashaled will be a good pair with that as well, because as I was saying, the more speed you have for Fire Knight, the better. He definitely does very respectable damage on dungeon waves. He's hitting for 100k, 80k AoE. We're a Fire Knight in 40 seconds. Okay. The heal reduction is obviously also nice for Fire Knight. If the Fire Knight gets a turn, he won't heal back. So overall, I'd say definitely very useful for Fire Knight 20. Unfortunately, he's not that good on Dragon because he's Spirit, and I don't think you want to use him as a tank. But there we go. Best damage dealer here on Fire Knight. Even beat Coldheart with her big hits on the boss with Heartseeker. So I think that he's definitely very viable and useful for Fire Knight. Currently, Faction Wars or Undead Faction Wars are not open, so I can't show him there, even though I would like to. Maybe I'll do an Undead team for Faction Wars, and we'll do another showcase of how he can be useful there. Let's go ahead and look at his gear one more time. Oh, that's the wrong one. So, crit rate, speed, crit damage is what you're looking for in substats. crit damage gloves, attack percentage body, speed boots, accuracy, crit damage, and attack. Another thing I really wanted to mention real quick with masteries. This mastery right here increases damage inflicted to targets with stun, sleep, fear, true fear. Seeing as how he puts up fear, this is definitely a good mastery to get for him. I wouldn't skip over that one. And then this one as well, Ruthless Ambush, 8% total with Ruthless Ambush and Opportunist. You're gaining 20% damage. I'd say those are definitely very nice masteries to get. I personally like crit damage because I like steady, consistent numbers. With Helm Smasher, you'll probably peak higher damage, so you can run Helm Smasher if you want to. It's not the wrong thing to do. I just prefer crit damage myself. I think that's going to do it for today's guide. Overall, Martial Ed's rework definitely made him a much better champion than he was before. Thank you all for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.